You requested it, you got it. For the first time since starting this channel, I've finally made the time to sit down and watch Howl's Moving Castle again. It's definitely my favorite Studio Ghibli film, because the imaginative story is so great and there are so many complicated moving parts. You could see this film a dozen times and still find new details to pick out. If you haven't seen this movie, there are spoilers ahead, but the gist is that a young girl named Sophie gets cursed, and she becomes an old woman who ends up as the cleaning lady for this powerful wizard named Howl at the same time that a huge war starts kicking off. So today, I want to go over a few of my burning questions, like who cursed Turnip Head? What exactly is Howl? And is Sophie a witch too? Well, to answer the first question first, it seems clear to me that Madame Solomon cursed the prince and turned him into Turnip Head. The missing prince is what actually started the war in the movie, and once the prince returns to his human form, he has no memory of who cursed him. Obviously, as a prince, he would be well guarded from physical and magical attacks, because we saw that the palace has safeguards around it to keep unwanted magical forces out. Since Madame Solomon is the royal sorcerer, she was not only trusted to use magic within the castle walls, but she would have easy access to the prince as well. But why would she want to do this? Well, Madame Solomon needed an excuse so that she could clean house and rid the world of pesky witches and wizards who did not properly obey their king. We see that Solomon manipulates the Witch of the Waste into the castle only to steal her powers and make the witch her real age. And we know that Solomon was very upset with Howl for leaving his apprenticeship with her and becoming a self-serving wizard. So making the prince disappear allowed Solomon to pull some strings with the king and convince him that she should get free range to dispose of magic users who could pose a threat to the realm. If all that doesn't convince you, at the end of the movie, Madame Solomon flat out says, "The game is over." And she states that she'll be contacting the proper people to put an end to the war. So while it seemed like a war between nations, that was all kicked up by Madame Solomon so that she could declare war on all the wizards. Next up, what is Howl? Howl started as a regular boy who began to train as a wizard. However, while still a child, Howl made an arrangement with a falling star called Calcifer to give up his heart. It seems like that deal was intended to give Howl a lot of power because he obviously knows advanced magic even though he didn't finish his training. Howl is not a wizard like everyone believes. Well, he is actually like a moderately trained wizard, but he's using demonic powers to fill in the gaps of his knowledge. Howl is a hanyo, a Japanese term for a half-human, half-demon. Calcifer and Howl make a symbiotic relationship together, and if that didn't form a hanyo creature, I have no idea what else Howl could be. He even has a raven-like demon form that Madame Solomon is eager to show Sophie. Madame Solomon was trying to out Howl as not really being a wizard right there in front of us, and she thought if she could scare Sophie, then Sophie would turn on Howl and help her out. And that brings us to a perfect segue to talk about Sophie herself. Throughout the climax of the movie, we see some major changes in Sophie, and they all occur after Sophie gives Calcifer her braided hair to eat. Several times in the movie, Sophie varies in age. At first, this only happens when she's asleep, which makes some sense because sleep is a very rejuvenating process, so it allows her body to deflect the curse temporarily. Confidence and love also seems to make Sophie younger for brief moments. However, once the war really hits close to home, Sophie becomes young again, and she permanently stays that way. But the curse was never formally broken, which means as soon as Sophie doubts herself again, she should turn into an old lady again. But I think Sophie is free from her curse because she offered her hair to Calcifer. After Calcifer eats Sophie's braid, she not only stays young, but she's also able to stand in flames without getting burned, just like the Witch of the Waste, and she dumps a bucket of water on Calcifer without killing him. Soon after that, she's able to return Howl's heart to his body and separate Howl and Calcifer without harming harming either of them. Those are some really high-level powers for a human girl to suddenly obtain, and I don't think it's due to love. I think it's because Sophie, Calcifer, and Howl all became one after Sophie donated her braid. Sophie unwittingly became this Hanyo sorceress. So similar to Howl, Sophie also offers up a part of herself and forms a symbiotic relationship with Calcifer, which gave Sophie powers beyond reckoning. And even though Sophie had no idea that she had these powers, that explains why she was able to do so many impossible things, like break her own curse out of the blue. Now, whether or not Sophie retained her witch-like powers after Calcifer flies away is up for debate, but I'd like to think that there's at least a little demonic power left in both Sophie and Howl to help them enhance their magic in the future. Yeah, I might be overthinking it, but that's literally my job. Well, that's all I have for now, but this video's not quite over yet. We're expanding, so I have to plug our other channels. Total, we have the Fangirl, dealing primarily with movies and shows, Say Halo Goodbye Gaming, and the Fanily Family Vlogs. Links are in the description, and we would love to see you at all three channels. Okay, I think that's it. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed enough to like, subscribe, and share this video. We have tons of material across our various channels that you are fully encouraged to go check out. And if somehow you can't get enough of me, please connect with me on Instagram at sayhalogoodbye or Twitter at _Fanily.